Welcome to Ask Aron, where I provide you answers for the questions that you ask me. This week, we'll be covering some opinion questions, some factuals, and I'll be reacting to some pretty funky videos. Question number 1. Could Mike Tyson, in his prime, knock out a restrained tiger? Mike Tyson, one of the most famous boxers of all time, is known especially for his powerful punch. To answer the question about whether one of his punches is able to knock out a tiger, we should understand that knockouts happen when the brain hits the inside of the skull it is in, typically due to the head being forced in a direction at a high speed. Mike Tyson won 44 of his 50 wins by knocking out his opponent, so you'd think he has a knack for being able to put people to sleep with his punches. Tigers are not people though. Tiger skulls are much larger than human skulls, thicker than human skulls, and their neck muscles are stronger than that of humans. There is more density to their build too. Hitting a human in the jaw and causing their head to whip around fast enough to bounce their brain around is way more likely than doing the same to a tiger. Their necks are just too strong. Mike Tyson might stun the big cat, but he wouldn't knock it out. Question number 2. Who would win, a gorilla or a grizzly? In concept, this fight sounds really cool. You've got a monkey the size of an adult human with muscle strength comparable to 20 grown men, versus a tank with knives in each of its fingers and the determination to shrug off bullets. In practice, the only advantages a gorilla has over a grizzly are its shorter neck, opposable thumbs, and a slightly stronger bite force and strength. Gorillas don't often fight though, but when they do, they try to maul their opponents with hits more similar to slaps than punches, and frequent bites that, while strong, don't have as large a record of killing humans as bears do. Grizzlies, on the other hand, hunt to survive and will kill plenty. They are adept at wrestling, their claws are virtually daggers, and their bite force, though lower than a gorilla, is actually really comparable. On top of all this, the durability of the animals, as well as size, is not a fair comparison. Gorilla skin is much like human skin. It's not difficult to puncture, because it doesn't have the give like many other animal skins do. Grizzlies have thick skin that is difficult to rupture without weapons, and also has the give that allows bears to play fight with full force biting without hurting their partner. Gorillas are, when on their back legs, typically the size of a man, while grizzlies are, on their back legs, usually 8 feet tall or more. The size difference combined with their durability tells us that bears are larger than gorillas, more deadly than gorillas, and will win almost any fight against a gorilla. In this fight, the grizzly gets the victory. Question number 3. Best place to drop to get the dubs? Daily Bugle, for sure, no competition. Web slingers, materials, guaranteed weapons, plus a Spider-Man reference all wrapped up into one neat little package make for the best place to drop. When it is removed from the game, I will shed a tear. Question number 4. What if I want to be the little spoon? Spooning is a position for physical intimacy that has been around for a really long time. It's basic, but one of the most well-known and widely used forms of cuddling. It involves one partner laying on their side with their knees bent and another partner resting with their front pressed against the other's back. The partner with their back against the other is considered the little spoon, and the one curled around them is considered the big spoon. If you want to be the little spoon, tell your partner that you'd like to try being the little spoon for once. If they won't let you, I think you might need to reconsider who you cuddle with. Question number 5. Can Transformers have character development? Absolutely. There are a lot of examples, but my favorite one is the character Dinobot from Transformers Beast Wars. Following the original Transformers cartoon that ran during the 80s, the franchise found itself in a bit of a rut. It had continuing popularity in Japan, and the toy line was advancing, but as far as cartoons went in the Western world, Transformers was lacking. That was, until Mainframe Entertainment rebooted the franchise with a new story called Beast Wars, where instead of the heroic Autobots and evil Decepticons turning into vehicles and tools, the peaceful Maximals and the ferocious Predacons turned into animals. Dinobot was introduced as a character with ambitions for leadership, and it was made clear early on that he maintained a code of honor. It was unfortunate for him that he managed to be aligned with the Predacon faction, because bad guys don't have honor. He quickly found himself ejected from his team, but ended up joining the Maximals with some difficulty. Dinobot was still aggressive, and he still wanted leadership, which clashed heavily with the other Maximals. They didn't all trust him, and he didn't trust them, and they even went so far as to make constant threats to one another. As the series progressed through its first season, Dinobot grew into his role as a Maximal and became accepted by the others as he continued to work with them and towards their goals instead of his own. During the second season of the show, Dinobot began to grow depressed after realizing his destiny might not be aligned with his heritage or his goals. He suffers a crisis of faith, defects from the Maximals, and ends up betraying them, only to realize his error and correct his actions, returning to his team. This moment of weakness almost drove Dinobot to suicide, but when he was given the opportunity to right his past wrongs, he gives his life, saving the future of all human life. Dinobot evolves from a treacherous and violent liability that constantly threatened the good guys into a hero who would ultimately give his life to protect those in need, prevent a doomsday, and save his friends. If that isn't considered character development, then I'm not too sure what is. Question number 6. Hi Aron, I think my 2 friends are having intercourse. I don't know how to tell. What are some of the signs that they could be intimate with each other? Everyone has different ways of showing intimacy. Some people like to do it publicly while others keep it behind closed doors. If your 2 friends are spending a lot of time with one another and you're suspicious of their private life, what's important is that you do not overstep the boundaries of their relationship. If they do not want it to be your business, then that's that. It isn't for you to know. If they aren't trying to hide it and are making it fairly clear that they are together, some signs to identify include, but are not limited to, hand-holding, paying for the other person, sharing things, going off alone with one another, wearing one another's clothes, watching romantic movies, sleeping in the same bed, and spending a lot of money on gifts, like more than they would for you. Question number 7. Would you rather have intercourse with a goat and no one find out, or not and have everyone think that you did? Considering bestiality is not something I'm into or approve of, and it's a crime where I live, I'd rather not answer this question. If it were about a different scenario, I'd rather not have a tarnished reputation. Question number 8. Why do we use leaf blowers instead of leaf suckers? Leaf suckers, also known as leaf vacuums, are a great tool for cleaning up leaves. They suck leaves into a bag for easy disposal, but are geared more towards detailing or precision. Leaf blowers, on the other hand, are used to move more leaves and quickly. Because leaf blowers can blow with a greater range than leaf vacuums can suck, you can cover more ground with a leaf blower without needing to move around as much, or as slowly, since vacuums need to be pointed at a specific location while blowers will blast air everywhere. Leaf blowers are better for open spaces, while vacuums find greater success in tighter spaces. A good combination of use is leaf blowing a yard to get leaves into a general area, and then sucking up the leaf pile and any leftovers with a vacuum. Question number 9. Aron, make a reaction to this video, Aron. Question number 10. Well, looks like that's all the time we have for reaction videos this week. And so, we reach the end of this week's episode of Ask Aron. Join me next week as we cover some factuals and I answer some advice questions. Be sure to use the link in the description of my channel and my video to ask me any question you would like to see me answer. Thank you for joining me.